When adding new receptacles for lighting fixtures in a nightclub, several factors must be considered to ensure safety and code compliance. For exposed outlets, both conduit and armored cable, also known as BX, are potential wiring solutions. Metal or non-metallic conduit offers excellent protection for the wiring and is often required in concealed or high-traffic areas. Armored cable has a flexible metal casing that protects the conductors and is suitable for exposed wiring in areas where it will not be subject to physical damage. When deciding between conduit and armored cable, consider the environment and potential risks. For outlets running across the ceiling, especially cement ceilings, conduit is generally more suitable to provide protection and support. For exposed outlets above people's heads, armored cable is an acceptable option, provided it is securely attached and not subject to physical damage. Several types of conduit are available. Rigid metal conduit, or RMC, is durable, corrosion-resistant, and commonly used in industrial and commercial settings. Electrical metallic tubing, or IMT, is lightweight, flexible, and suitable for light-duty applications. The choice of conduit depends on the specific requirements of the installation and the level of protection needed. Regarding wiring considerations, outlets should be wired on appropriately sized circuits to handle the load. This ensures that the circuit breaker will trip in the event of an overload, preventing potential fire hazards. Sharing a neutral is not recommended for lighting circuits, as it can create voltage imbalances and potential safety hazards. Each circuit should have its own dedicated neutral wire. All outlets must be properly grounded for safety. Grounding provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, tripping the circuit breaker and preventing electrical shock. Nightclubs have specific electrical requirements due to the nature of the environment. All electrical work must comply with the National Electrical Code, or NEC, or local building codes. This ensures that the installation meets minimum safety standards. Outlets installed on high ceilings may require additional safety measures, such as recessed boxes or safety cages. This protects the outlets from damage and prevents accidental contact. If the truss system is subject to vibration, flexible conduit or cable should be used to prevent damage to the wiring. Vibration can cause connections to loosen or wires to break, leading to electrical problems. In the specific scenario of running about 12 outlets to each side of the stage from the demo rack, it's crucial to avoid sharing neutrals, even with lower amp loads such as 500 watts per circuit. Sharing neutrals can lead to overloaded neutral conductors and potentially dangerous voltage imbalances. To determine the appropriate wire gauge for each circuit, calculate the total load in amps. For example, a 500 watt load on a 120 volt circuit draws approximately 4.17 amps. Use Ohm's law, which is amps equals watts divided by volts, to determine the current. Consult the NEC table 310.15b16 to determine the appropriate wire gauge for the calculated current, taking into account the ampacity of the wire and any directing factors. The NEC provides guidelines for the allowable ampacity of conductors based on their size and insulation type. Ensure that the chosen wire gauge is rated to handle the expected current load safely. When running circuits for stage lighting, consider using a multi-wire branch circuit, or MWBC. A multi-wire branch circuit consists of two or more ungrounded conductors sharing a common neutral conductor. However, it is essential to ensure that each ungrounded conductor is connected to a different phase of the electrical system to prevent overloading the neutral conductor. If using a multi-wire branch circuit, ensure that a circuit breaker is used that will disconnect all ungrounded conductors simultaneously in the event of a fault. This prevents the neutral conductor from becoming overloaded. When installing outlets on a cement ceiling, use appropriate fasteners and anchors to ensure that the conduit or cable is securely supported. Concrete anchors are designed to provide a strong and reliable hold in concrete. Follow the manufacturer's instructions for installing the anchors and ensure that they are properly sized for the load. For added protection, consider using ground fault circuit interrupter or GFCI outlets, especially in areas where there is a risk of moisture or dampness. Ground fault circuit interrupter outlets are designed to detect ground faults and quickly disconnect power. preventing electrical shock. Regularly inspect the electrical system for any signs of damage or wear. Check for loose connections, frayed wires, or damaged conduit. Repair any problems immediately to prevent potential hazards. Consider using surge protectors to protect sensitive electronic equipment from voltage spikes. Surge protectors can help to prevent damage to lighting fixtures and other electronic devices caused by power surges. When installing electrical equipment in a nightclub, it is important to consider the potential for exposure to moisture, chemicals, and other environmental factors. Use equipment that is rated for the specific environment to ensure that it will not be damaged or corroded. Ensure that all electrical panels and junction boxes are properly labeled to identify the circuits they serve. This makes it easier to troubleshoot problems and perform maintenance. Keep a detailed record of all electrical work performed, including wiring diagrams and circuit schedules. This information can be helpful for future maintenance and repairs. It is always recommended to consult with a qualified electrician to ensure that all electrical work is performed safely and in accordance with applicable codes and regulations. A qualified electrician can assess the specific needs of the installation and recommend the best wiring methods and equipment. When selecting an electrician, verify their credentials and experience. Ensure that they are licensed and insured and have a proven track record of performing quality work. Obtain multiple bids from different electricians before making a decision. This allows us to compare prices and services and choose the best option. Ask the electrician for references and check them carefully. This can provide valuable insight into their work ethic and quality of service. Before any work begins, obtain a written contract that outlines the scope of the work, the price, and the payment schedule. This protects interests and ensures that there are no misunderstandings. During the installation process, communicate with the electrician regularly to ensure that the work is being performed to specifications. Address any concerns promptly to avoid potential problems. After the installation is complete, have the electrician inspect the work to ensure that it meets all applicable codes and regulations. Obtain a certificate of compliance to document that the installation has been properly inspected and approved. Regularly maintain the electrical system to ensure that it continues to operate safely and efficiently. Schedule periodic inspections by a qualified electrician to identify and address any potential problems. By following these recommendations, one can ensure that the electrical system in nightclub is safe, reliable, and compliant with all applicable codes and regulations. This creates a safe environment for employees and patrons. Remember that electrical work can be dangerous and should only be performed by qualified professionals. Never attempt to perform electrical work unless one is properly trained and equipped. Always disconnect power before working on any electrical circuits. Use appropriate safety equipment, such as insulated gloves and safety glasses. Be aware of the potential hazards of electricity and take precautions to avoid electrical shock. In summary, when wiring outlets in a nightclub, consider the following factors. Firstly, choose the appropriate wiring method, either conduit or armored cable, based on the environment and potential risks. Secondly, select the appropriate type of conduit based on the specific requirements of the installation. Thirdly, size the circuits appropriately to handle the load. Fourthly, avoid sharing neutrals on lighting circuits. Fifthly, ensure that all outlets are properly grounded. Sixthly, comply with all applicable codes and regulations. Seventhly, implement additional safety measures for high ceiling installations and vibration mitigation. Eighthly, consult with a qualified electrician to ensure that all work is performed safely and correctly. Ninthly, maintain the electrical system regularly to ensure its continued safety and reliability. Finally, prioritize safety at all times when working with electricity. By following these steps, you can create a safe and reliable electrical system for a nightclub. This protects employees and patrons and helps to ensure the success of the business.